What's going on? It's Fist bringing another great edition straight from our for me to you, because that's what I do. It's another great gameplay. Sometimes I do like playing Call of Duty when it's working properly. Here, I'm using no streaks. I had no streaks. I picked it on accident. Then I realized that you don't get nothing for picking no streaks. You don't get plus nothing on anything. So if you're following me on Twitter, I've said that many a times. If you're following me on Twitter, I had this discussion. I sent a Twitter to David Vonderhaar. None of these people listen anyway. It's like talking to the wall. But I figured if you're not using your streaks, how about this idea? Why don't you get a +1 to whatever perk that you're using if you're not using your kill streaks? So, for example, there's three streaks, and let's say you have vaulting in Ghost, for example. Ghost vaulting. So instead of you take away one of the streaks, you're faster on vaulting, you're faster on shooting because it's a +1. So like say you get a +1. You get a +1 to, whatever it is. +1 to Ghost. Maybe it lasts longer while you're running. +1 to, sound. +1 to whatever. Maybe even a +1 to your attachments, too. I think that would be great. Because here's the thing. You want to reward players for gun-on-gun gameplay, right? So why not give them an incentive to play like that? So give them more pluses on the attachments, on the perks, and then that way everybody's like, yo, I can move around faster, and it still balances itself out. There's nothing there that you could say that says, oh, that would be unbalanced. No, because the fact is that if you have streaks, you're getting plus on streaks. Because streaks are killing your other teammates, is showing UAV, counter UAV. Those are all big, huge pluses for streaks, but they don't cost you any points. So you get plus on all the streaks regardless. So you should get plus if you're not using them. Then that you should be able to use them on your perks and your attachments. So you get an advantage. You should not get an advantage, but you should get some equality. If you're not using the streaks, what's the point of... You shouldn't even be able to turn off streaks. That doesn't make any sense, because if you turn off streaks and you're running with nothing, then all it is just bragging rights. It doesn't give you no advantage. But if you have streaks on, it gives you an advantage. You see, I mean, like, some of that stuff, like, how much would it take for them to be like, yo, we're going to go ahead and give you those points for that? That should be a no-brainer. You should be able to get those points, and they should give it to you for not using those things. The same thing with the Pick 10 system. They should give you the points for not using streaks. I mean, tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I think that's a great idea. I don't see, I saw here. The funny part is, I see Mark Rubin, the program director, blah, blah, blah. So he goes on and he's talking about leaning in Call of Duty. Now, people were talking to me. Well, let me go back. Before that, Mark Rubin did tons of interviews on E3. And he was doing interviews about Ghost. And he says to this effect, he says, honestly, I don't know how we can accommodate everybody, and we are poor listeners. We're not expert listeners. We don't listen to everybody. Well, I'm like, damn. We're sitting out there going out of our way. We are the people on YouTube constantly posting videos, constantly playing the game 9-8 months out of the year. Wouldn't you think that you video factual evidence over and over and over and over again wouldn't be good enough for you? So I'm constantly giving these great ideas and great advice, and no one's listening to it. No one's even giving it a chance. No one's giving any of it a chance whatsoever. Like, they are going out of their way not to listen. And I don't understand what it is. I mean, they act as though if they listen to us and it's our idea that we're gonna be like, oh, it's our idea, we should have blah blah blah. Like, so what? The whole point is to make the game better for everyone. Isn't that the purpose? To have it, to have the game running great for everyone. And that's what I don't understand. When I think about it, it's like I just bang my head, and it's like, you have developers going, oh, we don't listen, we're terrible listeners to the community. Man, we're out here screaming our lungs out, making videos after videos. Like, come on, man, fix the damn game. And they don't listen. So whatever. I've given you great advice over both of my channels. Tons of video factual evidence. There's tons of us guys out here. When I see them going to these interviews, I'm like, are you either fucking lying to the public, or are you just not listening, or what is it? Like, do I have to... I'm sitting like on an island with a fucking huge strobe light, and you're just like 10 feet away from me in a helicopter, and you're acting like you don't see us. But then you go around and parade to all these interviews and say, oh, I didn't hear nobody, we're terrible listeners, we're not going to implement this, we're not going to do that. And then I see Mark Rubin do an interview where he's talking about the leaning mechanic. You could search this. I think it's Outside of Xbox YouTube channel, it's called, Outside of Xbox. They did an interview with him talking about the leaning mechanic. The leaning mechanic is you have to run up to the wall, and it's all in one movement. So you run up to the wall, you pull the trigger, and then it leans automatically. So if you're in front of a wall, then you are going to go into a leaning performance. So the point being is how is that going to, what functionality is that going to have? Can I jump into the wall and lean? Can I jump, squat, lean? Can I jump, squat, go into a prone position? Can I prone lean? So here are a lot of questions that are not answered. I mean, have they actually tested this stuff out? I mean, they're talking about vaulting while shooting. And he was talking about, he did this finger movement where he's like, yo, we're going to run to the wall and stop and then jump over it, and it's like a square. And I'm thinking, well, you could just jump and shoot and be in 360. While vaulting, you cannot do that. You're vaulting in one direction, so shooting. So I don't understand that. If you're vaulting, can you only shoot in the direction that your reticle is pointed in? Are you stuck in that position? Or is your character able to vault in a 360 from touching the wall? So there is a ton of questions. Tons and tons of questions on all these games. From Destiny, from Titan's Fall, to all these games out here. It's just amazing to me. People are like, oh man, the PS4 is going to be better than the Xbox, and I'm thinking, how does everybody know all the answers when you haven't even touched anything? All I'm saying is this: based on history and what we've seen in the past, things usually repeat themselves. And without them properly doing things in the game, I can't see an extreme change in certain items. So I can't comment on that. But what I can say is, when they're in the development team and they're talking about, doing certain things in the game that haven't been tested correctly, and then turn around and say, well, we don't get the answers from the public, or we don't try to get the answers from the public. I mean, my head is spinning. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm completely lost because this is constantly lying. I don't know what's going on. Like, are they? I think the whole point, the whole layout of this whole thing is this: they got 8 months to make a game. Period. So, what does it matter what they say? Regardless, you're gonna buy the game. They're gonna make the game. That's it. And people saying that all these other games that are out here to challenge Call of Duty, they're not challenging Call of Duty. Battlefield 4 is challenging parts of Call of Duty. Battlefield 4 is a 60-minute game with big maps. Call of Duty Ghosts is short maps, 10 minutes. Titan's Fall is RoboCop and Pilot. Destiny is, magic and shit. Shadowrun and whatever mixed into it. Bottom line is, nobody knows what these other games are going to entail, but they're definitely not challenging Call of Duty directly. So, we don't know what's going to happen. And that's the bottom line. And I hope you enjoyed this beautiful gameplay. Until next time, get the fuck out of here.